Welcome to 108 Gates. We are looking at the Divine Masculine reading. Divine Feminine reading is loading up. Uploading. Very practical. May not be comfortable for some of you to hear, but it is what it is. So it's up to you if you want to listen to it or not. January 2024 readings are up. So here we go into the masculine energy. The masculine energy is perplexed. Kind of confused as to why certain things aren't being understood. Confused as to why are particular things which need to happen are not happening. So there's kind of assessment happening, but kind of it's in a way of, right, okay, so this is like a concluding energy to what's been happening. So if it's kind of, right, let's say this. If certain things have been said and they're not being comprehended, and then certain things have been said and it's repeated, and then the other side is not understanding it, the other side is just like, I don't get it. There is only a certain point at which divine masculine energy is going. So understanding that divine feminine energy right now is at a point of having to shift and change the way things are done. You can't continue to do things the way we used to do it or the way we want to do it just because you don't want to make the effort to change things. So the masculine energy is really feeling into the shift and change that's required, and also kind of understanding that right now we've got the sun edging closer and closer and closer to Pluto being at the end of Capricorn, in the last decan, in the last part of the last decan. So with Mars doing its magic right now, the more resistance you put up, the more difficult things are going to be. Let go of the resistance and just allow things to happen. But understanding the divine masculine energies, understanding that some people aren't ready to do certain things, split. Some people aren't ready to hear certain things, split. Some people aren't ready to do the next steps in a particular way, split. But the thing is, as these splits are happening, divine masculine is seeing more of what he's got to do himself. So divine masculine kind of like, right, I relied on this, I relied on that, it didn't happen, it wasn't happening, I have no time to waste. If you think about a portal, the portal is only open for a certain period of time. It's only open with a certain velocity for a certain amount of time. This is why it's not that whoever's taking it personally can't take it personally, and if they're taking it personally, they're not going to evolve, and they kind of they're creating their own fate, so to speak, to be left behind. And when the portal shuts, they're not going to be able to get through until it opens again, if it opens again. Sometimes there are some opportunities that only come a particular time in a particular way, and therefore if you're not ready then, who's to say you're going to be ready for the next time if it's open again? So this particular portal, this time epoch, this sun going over sun going over Pluto in Capricorn, and the last part of the last decan. Something to be said that. So interestingly, I was watching this ice hockey last night, and they are in thirds too. They don't do quarters or halves, they do thirds, so it's like different thirds of the game. And as I was watching it, it's like you think about how fast they're going, and to get that puck in, like, it literally is. I've always been an admirer of that sport, because it's just such a fast-paced sport, and it's just the precision that they need. It's just something else. Like a lot of sports, but for some reason it's kind of like spelt like in all of them, should I say? So it's that same kind of precision, it's that same kind of speed that's building up. You don't have time to stop and think. You don't have time to ponder, shall I do this or shall I not? That's what you were doing before, leading up to this point. That's what you've been doing before, making sure your muscles are refined and you're reacting and responding as fast as you possibly can to whatever's coming up. This is where now the silence that's coming in from divine masculine is coming in, because of a lot of those things. Now they can't have any more words spoken to them. They can't have any more attention or put attention put on it. It can't be like in a leaky bucket. It can't be and again, not to take it personally, it just is. There's a slither of time, there's a slither of particular kind of energy. You want to be ready, you want to go through it, you want to be aware of it, you want to make sure that I've got through. There's no carrying cargo. If the cargo isn't able to move itself like a robot, if it's like self-actualized or whatever, it's self-aware, and it's, well, that's a bit scary to say that, but it can move, like it's got its functions programmed in, it's moving to a certain point, right? Get to that point, robot, by that time it's got there, it's done. So this isn't necessarily about consciousness or subconsciousness. This is, you should have already done that work, a certain amount of work, a certain particular kind of work to get to this point. Those of you who've been working on it and been doing the stuff, doing the work, doing the letting go, doing the cleansing, doing the purifying, doing the awareness, aware of, there are certain things that only come around very rarely. So I'm going to be ready for it. Not you hear about it and now you start prepping. It's too late then. So those of you who are ready, enjoy this process. So the absence of certain things is kind of indicating where things have changed, where things have evolved, where things are moving, and where things need to be moving next. The speed is going to be something, quite something that you might not have had before, may not have seen before. You may feel certain physical impact on this. You may feel more inclined to be needing to just sit and steady yourself. And like I said in the Divine Feminine reading, you need to have those quick ways of grounding. You don't have time to take your shoes off and go to a field. It isn't that kind of commercialized spiritual stuff. It's just like, it's practical. You've got to be in it to win it. Courage, be brave, start committing to other things that you don't clearly know about. You've got to go to your instinct and your intuition. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands, there's going to be conflict because some people ain't going to like what you say, some people ain't going to like what you do. I said that about the Divine Feminine reading as I started this one. Some people will take offence. Some people will be like, this isn't fair, this isn't correct, you don't know what you're talking about. Maybe I don't, but the thing is, you have to feel it for yourself. Maybe it's a different path, maybe it's a different story, who knows. King of Wands, we had the Queen of Wands in the feminine. King of Wands coming up. Just take the action. Take the action. Do what you've got to do. Make sure you're doing it. Make sure you're being attentive to what needs to be done next. And if you don't do it, it's not on you, it's on someone else. If they choose to not do it, that was weird. Okay. Four of Wands was in the same place as the Divine Feminine. King of Wands, the Divine Feminine had Queen of Wands over here. If you don't do it, it's on you. But if someone else doesn't do something and you are waiting for them, or you are giving them certain space to come and follow me, come and do this, it's also on you. So if someone else's incompetence or someone else's inability to understand what needs to happen now, if you go back and try and pull them through this with yourself, you ain't going to win. You have to make sure that you're here to go through. The portal is fast. The portal is slim. The portal is not going to wait for anyone. So why should you? Right, you got the Page of Wands. You're going to have to do things you didn't want to do. You're going to have to do things that you don't actually feel going to be comfortable. Again, we've got, to get that foundation, that solid foundation, you've got Five of Wands. There's going to be some conflict. It might be conflict within yourself. I should do this, I should do that. No, that's the old way of thinking. That's the old way of doing stuff. You've got to move forward. You can't elevate certain things from being in the pit with them. If you want to get someone out of a pit, you've got to get out of the pit. You've got to get through this portal. There you go. So remembering, there's no time for this now. It's in the past, it's gone, it's done. You've got to keep moving forward. There you go. So you've got those dreams, things coming up, the memories that are coming up. Let those invigorate you. Yes, they're there. Don't pine over things. Don't get stuck in it. Acknowledge it. Be present with it, and then move on from it. How do I best move on from this now? What do you need to do that? Yes, some may be longer and elongated than others because they've gone deeper and they're a bit more raw and they're a bit more sore. But not to stay stuck in it. Move now. What is the solution? What is the next steps out of this? What is the next steps to the next part? Where am I evolving from here? Where's that portal? How do I make sure I'm ready for it now? Not start your work now to get to the portal. It's too late. You should have been exercising those muscles and clearing those things this whole time, and continue that process to make sure you're ready for that epoch. And there you go. There you go. The Chariot. Off you go. That's it. All I gotta say. You want a personal reading? It's 108gate@gmail.com. Reiki 108gate@gmail.com. Reiki with reading 108gate@gmail.com. For now, peace and love.